The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at WrestlingWithJohners.com.
Whoa, whoa, WrestleMania! It's time, baby, for WrestleMania 38, the grand spectacle in all of sports entertainment. I am the with me is our roving reporter for the whole entire Orlando Orego, and she is the mean queen of Syracuse City. She is Sarah Visick. It's WrestleMania, guys. It's WrestleMania, guys. It's happening.
I know. I'm like counting the hours for my trip. I'm going to Dallas.
Going to live on location.
I'm sorry?
I said live on location.
I know, right? Exactly. So I'll be the Smackdown and the live the Hall of Fame. I'm gonna do both WrestleManias. I'm still discussing with my friend if we want to go to Raw. I think we're gonna go. So the tickets are not sold out yet. So we'll see.
Well, this is it. In the next hour, we're going to cram in the entire weekend from start to finish.
Oh my God, it's so much,
so little time. Let's crack on, and let's look at the centerpiece first. 2 nights, the AT&T in Arlington, Texas. An estimate of 100,000 each night. How are we feeling about not only WrestleMania 38, but the first Mania in 3 years to have a live full attendance?
I wouldn't say full, but I mean...
more full than the 25,000 we had last April.
Exactly.
And even then, they had a thunder break, and it was, they got rained on.
Yeah, pretty much. This is actually my first WrestleMania that I'm going outside of Florida, so I'm very excited. So, I mean, like, me and my friend, we were talking about it. He was at first not hesitant. He wasn't sure, but I was just like, let's just get the cheap seats. We'll enjoy it on top, see it on the big screen right there live, So, so now it's getting closer and closer, and I'm just getting more and more excited just to visit Dallas for the first time ever. So,
and what a weekend to join! Of course, Sarah, 3 years ago it was at the MetLife Stadium where they had a full attendance. Of course, it was Ronda Rousey there, main eventing that 8-hour spectacle. Gone are the days of the one night shows. She's already said on Ellen in the past 48 hours that she is going to main event WrestleMania. What do you think?
The women's match should be the main event for night one. When you win the Royal Rumble, that's how it's marqueed. You main event WrestleMania when you win the Royal Rumble. So I've got no issues, and I'm glad to see them stick to the tradition.
But having said that, they're putting both women's title matches on the same night. Obviously, I think if I had my way, you'd have one on each night and have the balance. Of course, last year it was Bianca Bellaire and Sasha Banks who stole the show and really lit up the Tampa sky as much as the Lightning did. But we're back with Ronda Rousey against Charlotte Flair, and can she be overlooked with the KO Stone Cold Steve Austin segment to end the night? It's a toughie.
Well, I mean, the build of it, that's the issue. Like, a lot of people are not feeling this build. And also, it's just like, and everybody's questioning, like, Austin's coming back. Is he having a match? Is he, like, what is he, like, is it just a talk show segment? Like, main eventing a WrestleMania? So, I mean, that's the issue right there that a lot of people are having with this. I mean, but let's just think about it. Stone Cold Steve Austin is still one of the most popular wrestlers throughout all of wrestling. I mean, you can say Hulk Hogan, but I mean that's very different in comparing to what like the 80s was to the Attitude Era that Austin was in. So I mean it makes sense to have Austin last because one, it's in Texas. Two, it's like almost like a match in a sense that he's coming back.
Well, here is the thing. Let's break this down a little bit. It's not the first time he's been back. He's a regular feature on the WWE Network with the Broken Skull sessions.
Of
He
course.
popped up at WrestleMania 32, as much as we hate to forget it, but he was there. He was there at WrestleMania 30. And of course, he was inducted at WrestleMania 25 in Houston. So it's not as though this is the first time back, but it's the way that they have built this up. And they say it's the first time in 19 years, yada, yada, yada. He's doing the promo interviews this week. That he is having a segment with Kevin Owens, somebody who deserves the moment. And we've said since January that he has deserved the spotlight at WrestleMania. But the big question is, how healthy is Stone Cold Steve Austin at his age, with his neck, with his condition? The neck that, bearing in mind, he's still not recovered from, over 25 years ago, since Owen Hart dropped him on his head at SummerSlam, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I don't think
can he go?
No, pretty much, because when they first built up Austin, they said it was going to be a match with KO, and then they realized when there's no way he'd be medically cleared because of his neck. He not only would he be, risking any kind of injury, but he might be risking his life with, any excessive kind of physical altercation. I mean, we know KO's eating a stunner. Let's face it. We know that's going to happen.
Yeah.
How much physical gets beyond that, we'll see.
Yeah, and also we don't know how it's gonna be. Is it a talking segment and then they go into a brawl? Or they're gonna go into a brawl? I mean, we don't even know how this is gonna pertain, how's it gonna go. So
And we talk about talk show segments on WrestleMania. Hello with my brand new Roddy Piper shirt. WrestleMania 21, he had Piper's Pit with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Exactly.
And that was a bit. That was not good.
I sometimes it's depending on what Austin can do and what Austin likes. So that's the thing. So
I think it's because he is on board with KO. That's the important thing. And
of
unlike
course.
6 years ago, he was thrown to the League of Nations. Why, we don't know. There was him, and it was Shawn Michaels, and it was Mick Foley.
Because it was Texas. That's why. Of course, Shawn and Mick. He's a legend. Of course, they needed to give him a rub. And then Austin. He's from Texas as well as Shawn Michaels, and they were in front of 100,000 people. When was the last time? When would they ever been in front of that many people at that time? So.
Just a shame that the rest of the night ended up being stinkier than a wet nappy. But let's move on and let's break down the card. Let's start with night one, the Saturday night card. As we said, Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Of course, they've got history. They had the fight at WrestleMania 35. The ending stunk, but somehow Charlotte Flair shoehorned her way into this match. Ronda Rousey's been a huge improvement to the start that she had 4 years ago when she joined the company. How much further can she go?
Well, I think they still want that Becky versus Ronda match. So I'm thinking what they're going to do is just please the Fox execs and give Ronda the belt, because now that she's back, so we all know she's winning, we all know. So, but I would like it to be like the match that her and Charlotte had in Survivor Series. That was a good match. They were, they really complemented each other in that match. So I'm thinking I have a feeling that both of them will be on their A game. The build up to the match sucks, but I know for a fact they're going to bring something great.
It's the figure eight versus the armbar, isn't it? And although very much Ronda Rousey of old was just finisher spam, in the past 3 or 4 months, she shows she's come a long way and she's more versatile in engaging with the company. Sarah, what could we expect from this match, which could, as we said, still be the main event of the night?
I think you're going to see hard-hitting match. I think they're going to give them about, I would say, 15 to 20 minutes. Nothing too long where it's going to get drawn out. I think the longer the match goes, you're going to see Rousey's inexperience shown. Charlotte's definitely going to carry this match big time. I believe Orlando's right. Ronda is going to take the belt off Charlotte, just kind of because she is the money draw.
Yes.
And I think that builds up to next year's WrestleMania between her and Becky as well.
Of course.
Do you think it takes a full calendar year?
They're separated in different brands, so depending on if they decide to get rid of the brand split, I think they could do it. I mean, and also, I mean, Ronda has like some new women that she could face. Like, I don't think she's ever had a match with Naomi. I would love to see that. Shotzi, if they ever give her time. Sonya right now, I think, will be her biggest heel opponent because she's an authority figure and they already have some beef. So, I mean, I would love it if, Sonya and her have a face-off because, like, it will help. So,
and let's face it, and I'm sure you'll be expecting it next week. Bayley should be due back any moment soon. Bayley versus Ronda Rousey.
I want her on Raw. I think she needs to be on Raw. I mean, you could put Asuka on SmackDown. I mean, we can have Ronda versus Asuka. I mean, they had that little kind of. Remember when
we are forgetting one big potential opponent as well in Shayna Basler versus Ronda Rousey.
That's if they want to build her up. I mean, I'm sorry. It's just like they haven't really built her up. I mean, and like right there, they're right there. They could have done like something where they were friends, and then like Shayna should have turned face so that way she'll be on Ronda's side. I don't. Anyways.
Yeah, unfortunately, they haven't built Shayna as a monster since Elimination Chamber, pretty much. That's the last time she was a monster a couple years ago.
Exactly. Yes, I mean, I don't know if they want to go back to that, but I mean, it would be, nice to see Shayna versus, because they never had like that would be a good match for them to have like one of the other events. So we'll see.
MMA horsewomen versus MMA horsewomen, Basler versus Rousey. I think that although we've discussed before about whether they would go back to I think the ship very much has sailed, bearing in mind Shayna Baszler is now tagging with Natalya in the women's tag team title match. That's another one, but we'll certainly come back to that a little bit later. We talked about the man herself, Becky Lynch, and we talk about a long time coming. It is the rematch that they've made us wait 9 months for. It is Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belaire. They went 20 seconds when the man came back in Vegas, and now they're in Dallas in front of 100,000 people. They're going to go 20 minutes, and Bianca could get the win off her.
I mean, they could go two ways with this. One, they do back what they did. Bianca does it in reverse, where she beats Becky in 20 seconds because, that's the story there. I mean, I think the crowd will hate it. So they're going to have a great match. I could see them doing a lot of counters, a lot of like things and stuff, so I have a feeling that Bianca's going to win it. She'll probably win the belt on Saturday.
I mean, she has given Becky Lynch a bit of a new hairstyle, as much as they haven't gone the whole hair versus hair route. But, Becky Lynch has been this arrogant heel for 9 months since she returned and beat her in quick fashion. Sarah, what can Becky Lynch offer? She's worked hard since taking the belt off Bianca. It's just the time she gives it back.
I'm going to go against the grain here. In a big surprise, and I believe big time Bex retains on Saturday night. For months and months, I thought for sure Bellaire would take it off Becky. But typical WWE fashion, 90% of the time, the theory is you get the upper hand on the go-home show, you lose the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
What we saw Bianca Belaire get the upper hand on the Raw go-home show. So does that mean big time Bex wins?
She is big time. And
is Vince going to book two women's title changes for the same event?
I mean, he has done it in the past, though. He has.
The last time there was full attendance in WrestleMania, he booked 3 title changes in one night, and that was 3 years ago when Seth Rollins beat Brock Lesnar, when Kofi Kingston beat Daniel Bryan, and when Becky Lynch beat Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey, although very dodgy finish, to win the unified Raw and Women's titles. So
Plus, we
not
are
unheard
just
of.
looking at a women's tag title match change too. So, are all
That's
three
not
women's titles
That's
going to
I
not
have
change?
a theory about that one.
Two.
I have a theory about that though. Now.
We'll get to that one.
We'll get to that. We'll certainly get to that because let's talk about the main match that everybody is talking about in the last 48 hours. Seth Rollins versus Vacant. They're going to give a Shane McMahon at WrestleMania.
No. You know who it's going to be? You know who's going to be?
Seth, it's Shane McMahon. It's Shane
No.
McMahon.
You know how he's going to piss off the fans first? He's going to give us
Beer.
one swallow. Oh, beer? You think beer?
Nah, he's gone. He's having time out. That was terrible. I'm just going to let him simmer, and then I'll bring him back when he's ready. Reports according to PW Insider over the last 24 hours is that Shane McMahon, having been released from the company, is now being slated to come back. And after his rumored match with Shane McMahon was taken off the table at the Royal Rumble, he could be getting the match after all. Have you learned your lesson, Orlando? Have you learned your lesson?
You know what? I should live stream when I'm at Mania, and then say, "Luke, I told you."
Don't even. Could the worst nightmare come true?
I mean, it makes sense to have Cody debut back in Mania. Like, come on now.
Cody to one side. Shane McMahon first.
No, I don't think so because it sounds like he's just gonna be there just to hang out with his family. You know, I don't know if he's gonna politic his way again to get into WrestleMania. I mean, there's another match that kind of makes more sense than this, honestly.
I mean, he did politic his way to a match against The Undertaker through a lockbox at the same stadium 6 years ago.
But that was storyline based, though. That's different.
Was it though?
Yeah, I think so. Come on.
Yeah, it was a bit of a loose storyline. Sarah, what do you think is going to happen?
You know, he kind of leaked it a while back. Gable Stevenson is supposed to be having a match at WrestleMania. We haven't heard anything about him. My theory, to me, up until Shane McMahon, that was make me question it. But my strongest feelings have always been Gable Stevenson versus Seth Rollins.
Well, that would be a complete sideways swerve if they were to put him, because.
But then, okay, so then the question is just like, do they save Cody for night 2 or do they save him for the Raw after Mania?
I mean, the reports at the moment is they'll either put him against Seth Rollins or they will keep him for the Raw after Mania.
Yeah, because to me, a big debut, like a big return, should be at Mania because you have the big stage, you have the big pyro, hearing that music, adrenaline. You know, wrestling has more than one family, playing throughout the whole
something.
Exactly. Anyway, but exactly, like, you know, and like everybody, probably like all 100,000 people will go nuts just to hear him like come back, and then he's coming up from the stage, and then he's looking at Seth by the apron, you know, like, you know, I like, to me, it's just like I could see it like that because of the production. You know, it's a big production they should do. I don't know if they want to save that for Raw. Oh.
His American Nightmare music plays, and then Stardust just walks out, and that will then pop the fans because, you know, WrestleMania.
Mind you, he was Stardust 6 years ago. So
in one word, Sarah, who faces Seth Rollins?
Gable Stevenson.
Orlando, who faces Seth Rollins?
I'm still gonna say Cody Rhodes.
We'll see. We'll certainly see other matches on night 1 of WrestleMania. We talk about American Nightmares. Here's a definite American Nightmare.
You didn't give us your prediction. Who's he facing? Is it Shane, do you think?
You're thinking Shane.
I want to say Cody, but I will laugh my head off if it's Shane. I will laugh. I'll love it. The world will burn alive again. Talking about American Nightmares, The Miz and Logan Paul are taking on the Mysterios in a nothing celebrity tag team match. I mean, Logan Paul could do worse.
I mean, this breaks my heart, what I'm about to say, because I love Rey Mysterio. He is the GOAT. This is going to be my bathroom
He's on
break.
the cover of the video game, man.
I
Of course
know,
he's the
but
GOAT.
and then like they're having this damn match. I mean, like I think probably Vince gave him this option so that way his son could be in WrestleMania. So I think that's the only other thing that I can think of. I mean, it's sad to see like Ray doing this type of match, but I mean, it's a little bit more publicity, so we'll see. I mean,
well, this is. I was talking to a friend of mine about Logan Paul. Rewind to his feud with KSI for their boxing match. He gets the grandeur. He gets the sort of spectacle of an event, and he knows how to sell a fight.
mm-hmm.
It's whether he has the in-ring credentials to be able to back it up. Now, last year he was a guest of Sami Zayn, and he took the stunner, and it was funny, and it was fine. Getting in the ring,
was that a good stunner? Was that?
he sold it. He did what you're meant to do. But it's whether he can go. And I think Sarah, and he's been saying this in interviews this week, there's no better safe pair of hands for Logan Paul to learn under than Mike the Miz Mizanin and Rey Mysterio, who've both got 20 years worth of experience to be able to carry him.
The question is, last year we saw Bad Bunny like, oh, great celebrity in a match, and he performed beyond everybody's expectations for celebrity. He looked like he could be a legitimate wrestler at some point. The question this year is, does Logan Paul take it as seriously? I mean, first glance, what we know about Logan Paul, we're all going to say, probably not, but maybe he does.
I mean, they did put up a video that he was training with the Miz. I mean, he was training with MSK, so I guess. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, and like it's also like it's depending on how the match is paced, also because like you can't give him a 20-minute match. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
no.
I expect this to be 10 minutes, including entrances.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Let him have the spectacle. Let him have the moment. They've got time.
So make that bathroom break quick, Orlando.
The minute that you hear "I came to play," you're heading for the toilet. From one match that will be from one toilet match to a match that should also be a toilet break match. It's Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin again. Yeah, why is this a WrestleMania match? Do you remember when it was?
Because since hitting that jackpot, Corbin has not lost a match.
And nobody has kicked out of the end of days. So I'm thinking Drew is going to be the first one. I have a feeling Drew will be the first one.
He better do.
Because because like how this is going, it looks like Happy Corbin is winning, which I don't want it for him to win.
Nobody wants it.
No, of course not.
12 months ago, Drew McIntyre was fighting Bobby Lashley in the first match of night one for the WWE title. He's now stuck with Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do I need to say any more?
No, continue,
please. It's ridiculous.
Exactly.
So let's move quickly on for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. It is the Usos versus Nakamura and Boogs. I mean, we'll talk about Roman Brock in a bit for night 2. Could the Usos lose? I mean, it would certainly take away from the bloodline holding the gold image.
However, Rick Boogs is over with the crowd. Have you seen him when he comes out? Like the people love him. So
it's an easy formula. Happened with Jeff Jarrett. It happened with Elias. If you're a man that's playing a guitar and you can sing, you're going to be over with the crowd. And it's Rick Boogs.
Yeah, I mean the guy's a beast, though. I mean, have you seen? He looks like he could lift a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, honestly, I don't want them to win because I'm thinking that they want the Usos to retain and have a long reign. Because I have a feeling that they're going to separate Nakamura and Boogs. Because I'm thinking they're going to probably use Rick Boogs as like a singles competitor, and they'll just move him to Raw.
I'm kind of thinking the same. I think this is where they split Boogs and Nakamura. Something happens in the match. When Vince looks at it, it's going to be who's going to sell the merchandise with the titles. Usos are going to sell more merchandise. than Boogs and Nakamura as a tag team.
Oh, we'll get to that as well. So
Boogs, I think, will sell merchandise.
no, of course, yeah.
Not
Come
on the
on.
Usos level, but
No, I know. Like he'll probably like who's like middle, like maybe Drew, like maybe underneath Drew and Finn, maybe like
I'd go mid tier.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because like you could just put like Boogs in a shirt with him like rocking. I mean, it's right there. Kids would love that type of shirt.
I mean, Luke will probably buy it.
Shall we move on?
What?
Speechless.
I get it regularly off Orlando. I didn't expect it from you, Sarah. That was unfair.
Funny.
That wasn't
like
fair.
Randy Orton out of nowhere.
Exactly.
From out of nowhere. From one tag title match to another tag match. The New Day, yes it is, versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland, featuring Butch.
I have a feeling New Day is going to win this because Big E will probably come out and do a distraction so that New Day wins. And have the feel good moment. I mean, he's not going to get physical. I mean, it's unfortunate. But I mean, we never know. I mean, like maybe he got cleared from the doctors. I mean, I don't know, but I don't think they want to risk it. So
I don't see him getting physical for at least a year, at least.
I think in one alternative reality, had COVID not hit Roman Reigns, Big E would be coming into WrestleMania as a WWE champion. I think that is a very safe bet. We could have
or he would have been fighting for the WWE championship and not being this type of ridiculous match. I'm sorry, like I feel bad that that Pete Dunne has to do this type of gimmick, but I mean he's enjoying. Yeah, I mean, but he's having fun with it. I think he's like enjoying just like using it as for the haters, so that way he'll get more heat. So yeah.
Enough said. Let's move on to night 2, Sunday night, and we start with 2 matches that is baffling people for different reasons. Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. All over the egg.
This is where I'm thinking Shane comes in for this match because come on now, like Austin Theory has been around Vince McMahon a lot. When maybe Shane McMahon doesn't like it, he could probably be like an enforcer or special guest referee. To cost Austin Theory because this match is gonna just be like 5 to 10 minutes. It's not gonna be that quick.
I mean, Pat McAfee can go. We've seen that from his time in NXT. He was in War Games, for crying out loud.
But this is a new regime. I don't know if they're giving him reps. I mean, is he doing reps still? I mean,
I'm sure he's done some stuff.
They should have put him in on the Royal Rumble then, so that way we would have gotten this story. I'm just saying.
Let's move on.
I'm gonna give it to. But I'm going to give it to Pat McAfee. I think he's winning. Right. I don't see Austin Theory winning
here. Poor Austin Theory. Do you remember when he was involved? Do you remember when they thought they were going to be...
But no. Actually, but he is getting a lot of attention. He is with Vince McMahon.
He's getting a lot of attention. It's just the wrong way of going about it.
I know a lot of people don't like it.
He's doing it the Drew McIntyre way. Let's face it.
Pretty much. But, I mean, it's an annoying way. But, I mean, he's going to get over. I mean, he's still young, so... He still has a lot more time, so.
Yeah, and he did get squashed by Brock Lesnar, so there is that.
Look,
to the other match, that I've grouped together. Good old Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. Anything goes. Oh, this could be wild. I want spots galore.
Oh, of course. Come on now. I bet you Johnny's going to bring his crew. They're going to do a lot of stuff. Sami's going to attack all of them, and then somehow. Sorry to say this, but Johnny Knoxville will pin Sami Zayn.
Have you seen Jackass Forever? That's the question.
No, I know about Jackass. I'm not a fan of it.
But have you seen the recent film?
I've seen some clips of it, so I know what you're talking about.
Have you seen it?
I have not seen it. Okay. Not the new one yet.
Okay, spoilers. He takes a good bumping or two in the whole film. He's been hit by a bull. He's been thrown sideways while trying to play in a marching band by a treadmill. He's thrown himself each ways and sideways. He's Johnny Knoxville. He's a living, breathing stuntman. So he will throw himself off the set. He'll throw himself off some ludicrous thing. He might even go through a burning table. He will get he gets it. And Sami Zayn has said in interviews building up, he gets it, and he is willing to throw himself into this match. This might be very entertaining.
I mean, but also Sami Zayn is getting attention outside of wrestling. So I mean, that's a benefit for him. So maybe he'll get a movie role. Maybe he'll star in a movie with Johnny Knoxville. You never know. So we shall see what happens. I mean, I'm just happy that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are getting say what you want about the attention, what kind of attention it is, but it's still big attention from mainstream media. So
yeah, it is. It really is, and it is Johnny Knoxville, so it will be funny. Let's go into the two big tag team title matches of the night. We start with the women's fatal four-way. It is Queen Zelina and Carmella versus the remarkable team of Banks and Naomi versus Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan versus Natalya and Shayna Baszler. As we discussed earlier, we have 8 women who I guess maybe didn't want to be in a battle royal, but also Banks and Naomi are doing well. Ripley and Morgan is a good combination. Natalya and Baszler have that experience against a very underwhelming tag team champions in Zelina and Carmella. I mean, 3 years ago, we were talking about Banks and Bayley versus the Iconics, and now these are the 8 women that are still fighting for the same belt. It really has been the highs and the very much lows of this.
I have a theory. I think Carmella and Zelina are going to retain, and then they'll face the Bellas, because I think they're going to bring the Bellas back so that way they'll give them the belts. Probably maybe not in the next pay-per-view, but maybe the following pay-per-view. Because honestly, I mean, I would love for Sasha to get her first win in WrestleMania. I don't think she's going to get it. It's probably going to be maybe next year, but I don't think this year.
Yeah, I think Sasha